my man.
It is time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. This is real sports talk for the real sports fan. Talk to him, Swain.
Give me 2 laps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. My guy Ben McKee loves some Dead End Barbecue. I know I love me some Dead End Barbecue. What's going on, my man Ben?
Everything's going on. Appreciate you and your family bringing me some Dead End earlier this week. Y'all were kind enough to swing by and lift my spirits. I don't mind sharing that I had surgery Monday morning, so kind of been a tough week physically for me. And you brought over some wings and some banana pudding, and boy, did it lift my spirits. Those were some of the best wings and banana pudding I've had from Dead End. So it was perfect timing. I appreciate y'all bringing some over.
Which one did you eat first?
I ate all the wings first.
Okay.
Killed the wings.
You know what Turkey Man would do, right?
He would eat the banana pudding.
Yeah, it's an appetizer.
Which I do not disagree or oppose that thought whatsoever. The wings were just so good that I went with the wings. The dry rub was looking phenomenal on it. It was talking to me, so I had to go with the wings first.
I don't blame you, man. I did not blame you one bit, man. No, it was good to see you, see the family, see Jalen, see Knox, see the wifey, mom. It was good to see everybody, man. Glad that you're doing okay. I know that you mentioned that you were dealing with a personal issue, and early in the week, and so now that you've come out and said it, I know people been making sure that you're okay, and it's good that you're okay, man. So
the real question is, did you survive Dollywood?
Yeah, I don't do rides, man. I can't.
But you were in charge of 4 young ladies in that park in the middle of the summer, and it was hot. I'm just glad to see you back in one piece.
That's the best time to go, man. It's like after 5. Park closes at 9:30. It's the best time to go, man. 5:30 is the best time to go. But no, I couldn't do rides if I wanted to, man. I would be tore up.
So you did not do a single ride?
No, I can't do it, man.
I can't either. I'm a chicken. I'm a wimp. I'm a very cautious person, and roller coasters do not fit within being a cautious person. I hold everybody's stuff and people watch. Now, with my oldest being 3 next week, we went earlier this season, and I rode all the kiddie rides with him. That's about all I'm doing.
Dude,
and some of the kiddie rides don't even look fun.
With the concussions and football and stuff, man, I just can't do it. I would be dizzy for a week probably. I get so sick and nauseous, I can't do it, man. It just ain't worth it. I did I won't call it a kiddie ride, but I would call it a young person's ride. Really basic. Like the last time I went, dude, I was wrecked. So I guess it's part of, playing football and what comes with it. It is what it is, but those rides, man, I'm good. But I will tell you where to go to get that cinnamon bread. And I am good at holding things and making sure that we're going in the right direction with the maps. I got you on that. Well, my daughter has you on that. So, but no, it's good to be with you this morning. And SEC Media Days Tuesday for Tennessee. We didn't get a chance to hear from Tennessee before we did the show. They went 1:30 on Tuesday, and we knew what we were going to hear from Josh Heupel. He wasn't going to say much. But the players, they did not take that approach. The players did not take that approach. Mainly Miles Kitselman, he did not take that approach. And when Nico left during the spring, and Miles Kitselman was going to talk to the media that day with the Vol Network, I thought he was going to lay into Nico and go off then, and he held back and did not do that. But those things were on his mind. Here's a guy that JUCO fought, competed at Alabama with all that talent, gets here last year, and it's his first time being here at Tennessee. Probably wanted to say some things, didn't say. Nico was kind of pushed to be a leader, and it just wasn't. That just wasn't his personality, and I think Kitselman saw that, and the moment that Nico left, knew that he is going to be the guy that steps forward and is what this team needs. And hearing Arion Carter talk about Joey Aguilar coming in and almost being best friends with everybody on the team, and how they've really spent time together, it sounds like that this team has come together even more after Nico decided to leave. So some good stuff from the players, man, SEC Media Days. But yeah, Miles Kitselman's comments about being 7-0 was definitely a shot that I'm sure Georgia will use as motivation. Alabama will use as motivation. Alabama is the 7th game on the schedule for Tennessee, so that wasn't by accident. But man, if you are a fan, you love those comments. You love that confidence. If you're a teammate, you ride behind Miles Kitselman. But when he said it, I was kind of shocked, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah, it's one of those comments where you like the confidence. You want your players to have that confidence. And honestly, behind the scenes, all players are talking like that. Did you ever go into a game in your career where you were thinking, oh, we're going to lose this game?
Never.
Maybe early in the week you weren't the most confident you've ever been.
Never.
But by the time game day rolled around, you thought you were going to win by 50.
Never.
So
we were good
players,
then. So every game I thought we was going to win.
Right. But I'm sure you were more confident in certain teams than other teams. I mean, you were on a losing team at one point and got it turned around the next year.
Yeah, but even with that team, we knew we had the talent, and even that 5 and 6 season, still felt like going into the game we would win. Now it was tough to practice. It was tough to have that enthusiasm, but going into the game, I don't think we thought we were going to lose, honestly. Now, the Notre Dame game up there, that was a team that they had won a bunch of games, they were ranked, and our season was going in the wrong direction, so it wasn't early in the season. I'm sure there were some guys that maybe wasn't too optimistic going into that game, but you asked me the question, I thought we was going to win. But that was my mentality playing during the era where we had the most talent, or if not the same talent, as some of the top teams in the country. So it's different than some of these guys that played in the last 10 years where you're entering a game as a 30-point underdog. That's never happened.
No, it hasn't. But I would bet you that even those 30-point underdogs, by the time Friday or Saturday rolls around, they're talking like they're going to win. Yeah. That's just how guys operate. It doesn't really matter how the season is going. They're going to believe that they are going to win. The comment that raised my eyebrow the most was Kitselman's comment about going 3 and out, coming to the sideline, and nobody's talking.
Dude,
that was the comment that really caught my attention.
Hey man, I saw it. I saw it for multiple years. And one thing I've harped on this program is the leadership, how the leadership needed to improve and get better. That's what I was talking about. I mean, there'll be times when, man, sideline is silent, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. No, it's supposed to be your leader standing up and challenging your teammates, holding guys accountable. And there's ways to do it. You don't always have to yell at them and throw them guys under the bus that you thought didn't do their job. But man, it's about just having that eye contact and understanding. Like, hey, man, come on, this is not us. Let's communicate. Let's go out there next drive and put one together that's better than the one we had before. You just didn't see a bunch of that as much as you needed to see. Not saying it didn't happen, but you need to see more on championship quality teams, and I think that's what Miles Kittle was talking about, because he was part of one at Alabama.
Yeah, that's something that has to be corrected this year. It just seemed when the offense was really going through it, it was just a real struggle to get back out of the mud. It was Dylan Sampson or bust, and that can't continue to be the case. You can't continue to be so one-dimensional when things are not going well. And I'd like to think that with this offense, even if it is newcomers, you do have older guys that should be able to step up and handle things from a leadership perspective. And you have to have those guys. The best leaders are the ones who are not afraid to speak their mind. They're the Al Wilsons of, if I believe it's Fred White tells this story. I believe you have similar stories as well of, like, if I beat you in this sprint across the field in workouts, I'm a linebacker and you're a receiver or a running back. If I beat you again, then we're gonna have an issue. No.
Al told Fred when they were pursuing the football on defense that if I beat you to the ball, like if I beat you to the ball carrier, we're gonna have some issues.
Right.
Yeah, that was said to everybody. Like, I better not beat you to the ball, or you better not be one of the last people getting to the ball. So that's why the defense was so good, man. They had a standard set by Al Wilson and others.
But your leaders have to be able to be willing to give constructive criticism, because that is an unpopular thing to do in today's society. Mm-hmm. If you are willing to give constructive criticism in today's society, you are viewed as mean and hard to get along with, this, that, and the other. But those are the best leaders, the ones that are able to speak their mind respectfully, give criticism respectfully, and uplift others. And I feel like this offense is going to have a chance to have guys that are capable of doing that. Miles Kitselman strikes me as that type of personality. But then you also have some homegrown guys that I think need to step up. And I don't know them well enough to know if they will do this, but I think that they should by this point in their career. I'm looking at Deshaun Bishop. I'm looking at Ethan Davis. Y'all been in the program long enough now to where you should be leading this offense. And the guys are going to have to be real receptive to the newcomers as well. I look at Sam Pendleton, Wendell Moy, Joey Aguilar, the receivers and the skill position players. They're going to have to be very open to them leading them. That's been something that has really worked for Tennessee baseball the last couple of years, is that the incoming transfers have been allowed to have a voice by the players who have returned. They have they have welcomed their leadership voices with open arms, and I feel like this offense is going to have to do the same with that trio of guys that I just mentioned, because I think just from the outside looking in, it seems like those guys can have a real impact from a leadership standpoint. Mike Matthews has to grow up quick, fast, and in a hurry. He has to be one of the leaders on offense and not be afraid to get after folks in a respectful way, in a constructive criticism type of way, because that's the unpopular thing to do nowadays, is to speak up and really tell somebody what's on your mind, because you're looking out for their best interest. It's not received as well as it used to be, just with how our society has developed the last couple of years. But I feel like they have pieces on offense to have that leadership that was missing last year, but they're really going to have to come together and be open and be willing to accept each other's coaching from the player side.
Yeah, what happened with Nico, I think, is going to promote some leadership. Some leadership that was lacking in some areas, if I'm being honest here. Going to the Beatty Chevrolet text box, you can give us a phone call at 865-255-03. 256, what? About to give everybody my telephone number. That's the Garza Law hotline, Beatty Chevrolet text box. Chip Payne, letting you know that, man, he's praying for you and family for a speedy recovery. Man, Ben was moving around the day afterwards. He was good.
I appreciate you, Chip. Hope you and your family are doing well.
I'm surprised people didn't catch it on Tuesday because he was wincing a couple times in the video. I'm a little concerned about our viewerships and awareness. They didn't pick up on it at all. Sean P, we all know as of now the quarterback competition topic between Joey Aguilar and Jake Merklinger, but people are sleeping on George McIntyre. Are people sleeping on George McIntyre? He had a head start on learning Heupel's system and his high school offense switching test scheme last year. Reports are coming out. He's gained good weight. Yeah. People sleeping on George McIntyre because when they're talking about Tennessee in the quarterback situation, no one's even mentioning Merklinger. They're not mentioning George McIntyre, but they're not even mentioning Merklinger. When you're watching SEC Network and they talk about Tennessee in the quarterback position, yes, Heupel said there's going to be a quarterback competition, but they're not mentioning both quarterbacks the same. Joey Aguilar gets most of the mention. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have. Everybody expects Joey Aguilar to win the job, at least people outside of Knoxville. I think people within Knoxville and diehard Tennessee fans who are following it on a daily basis realize that Merklinger and McIntyre have a legit chance in this quarterback competition. The coaches aren't saying, well, we've got a competition, but secretly they know that neither one of those guys can win the job. I think they have a legitimate shot, but with the media outside of Knoxville, they certainly are expecting it to be Joey Aguilar.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I expected it to be Joey Aguilar.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he should. He's played more college football than Jake and George, and Jake he appears to have the potential to be a nice quarterback in college, but he's not somebody who was ever expected to contribute early in his career. He's more of a developmental prospect. Him and George, they're not ready to come in and play right away. So Joey should win the job.
Well, they might be. They got to prove it. But you would think that someone who's a true freshman may not be ready to come in and play early because we haven't seen a true freshman be given the responsibility to play receiver early, let alone to play quarterback early. So yeah, like just based on the precedents that Heupel has kind of laid out in his first couple of years, we haven't seen new guys on offense kind of break in and have playing time. So yeah, the cards are stacked against McIntyre. And then when you look at Merklinger, like I did not see a starting quarterback during the spring. That doesn't mean that he hadn't improved. That doesn't mean that he can't still be the starting quarterback because really all he has to do is be better than Joey Aguilar. So if Joey comes in and he turns the ball over and is having a hard time with the offense, then it's going to be hard for him to be the starter. But when people are talking about the quarterback situation for Tennessee, when you look on SEC Network, they're talking about Joey Aguilar, and they're doing that for a reason. They don't get that stuff out of the thin air. They talk to people at Tennessee to make sure they don't sound like a fool. So they're getting that from somewhere, in my opinion. We've seen that play out in so many different cases during the course of following Tennessee football. So there's going to be a battle. Joey could win it. Jake could win it, but I'm going to give the edge to Aguilar because of his experience. Rodney and Austell, what is the difference between Kittelman, his comments, and what the Florida State quarterback said, Thomas Castellanos for Florida State, what he said about Alabama a couple weeks ago? Talking real tough. The Boston College transfer who is now at Florida State. I think what Miles Kittelman said was more subtle. Is it bulletin board material? Yes. Should you take it as disrespect if you're Georgia and Alabama or anyone else on the schedule? Yeah, you should. You should. But what Castellanos did was he called out Alabama. He was talking about how Nick Saban not there anymore to save him. So he's calling out the current coach. He's calling out that team specifically. He was direct about it. Kittelman, he was more slick about it. He was more passive about it. That's how I look at it. 865-255-03. Bruce in South Carolina says, need to change my name to Bruce in North Carolina. Moved this week just outside Fort Bragg, closer to the grandkids. Need to find some Vol fans here, now retired and eager for football. But first need some help setting up new, smaller home. Exhausted already, GBO. So hopefully, Bruce, man, we can entertain you and talk to you a little bit while you're getting everything situated with your new home. Congratulations. Neil Kyle says Al Wilson's story of his. My old high school coach coached us how he was at the bar in Knoxville. There were 2 Tennessee players at the bar before a game. Al Wilson showed up and drug both of them out. The leader wasn't having it. That was their year in 98. Oh yeah. That was Al. Probably the greatest leader in Tennessee football history, man. Neil Mafia. 16 teams, 4 days, 100 reporters, not one single scrap of actual news. What was the point? I mean, it's talking season, Neil Mafia. Like, you're not gonna get a football game. I mean, there was news and notes from Greg Sankey at the beginning. Coaches were asked questions about the upcoming season, about strengths and weaknesses that I'm sure their fans was wondering all off season. So yeah, I mean, it is a spectacle. Don't get me wrong. It's over the top. But it does get you excited though, Mafia, that football is around the corner. And we got less than 2 weeks until fall camp started. Is it overrated? Yeah. But don't tell me that you would be okay without it. Like, come on, man. This is the signal that lets you know that football is here. Media Days is overrated. I get why we have it, but the only thing we learned about this conference this week was a hypothetical question about Saban coming back. Yeah, he ain't coming back. I'm surprised that was even mentioned. But so many people shot that down. He's not coming back to coach. It would make 0 sense for him to do that. There's some folks that looked at him and said, "Oh, well, he can go to Auburn." Now, we would love that as college football fans, but come on, man, he ain't doing that. He is not doing that. No way. No way. 865-255-03, Garza Law Hotline, Beatty Chevrolet, and BeattyChevrolet.com text box is open for you. I thought the players did a good job representing Tennessee. I think Miles Kittelman's comments will rally the boys. I think we're going to see more leadership. I think we're going to see more ownership. I think we're going to see that, man. I'm all about it. This team needs it. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Ben McKee, GoVols 247. I am Jason Swain. We are fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
What's up, Swain Event crew? Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Fall sports can be a roller coaster ride for us fans. The excitement, drama, and passion will make us crazy sometimes. I can't manage the games, but I can help you manage your real estate needs while you're cheering on the Vols. Reach out at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Guys, don't live with tiredness or low energy. Get your life back with low testosterone therapy at Low T Center. Take the test, get fast results, and start TRT with Knoxville's leading experts in men's health. Now it's easier than ever with the new Synergen X Health app, an innovation in healthcare technology you won't find anywhere else. Download now or book an appointment while the test is still free at fixmylowt.com. Fixmylowt.com.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Welcome back to Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Ben McKee, GoVols 247. I'm Jason Swain, live here in the Low T Center studio. Y'all know Josh Hype ain't gonna say nothing, right? That's not what he does. He was asked about like the timeline of picking a starting quarterback, and he gave no specific timeline. But when one presents himself as a starter, then they'll make that decision. I know one thing. I think that Monday of game week is the absolute latest. It's the absolute latest. I don't think it's going to take that long, but that's the latest. That was when we were told when we had a quarterback battle. And I feel like that was, looking back on, I thought that was maybe a little too late.
Yeah, and that's with, I believe you feel the same way that I do, that anti two quarterback system in the opener.
No, not a big fan of it. Here's the only scenario I'm cool with the two quarterback system. If one quarterback presents a totally different skill set than the other. So, like, remember 2006, Florida had Tim Tebow come in short yard situations and just straight run the ball. Like we've seen Oklahoma guys come in and just straight run the ball, in the past. Like, if you have a dual threat quarterback who's a young player but has not developed yet as a passer, but you want to use his athleticism, you put him in for a play or two and you take him back out. But there's a clear-cut starter, and he's rolling. Like, I'm okay with that. But, like, you get a play, you get a series here, you get a half here, that's not something that Tennessee needs to do.
No.
Or will do.
No. I agree with you there. I do wonder if Jake Merklinger were to win the job, could you use Joey Aguilar in that type of package? I have not seen enough of both in college. One, just inexperience, hasn't played a ton of college football. The other, did not watch App State games while he was at App State. But I would think, from the outside looking in, that Joey is a much better runner than Merklinger. So I wonder if Merklinger were to win the job, could you use Joey's legs in a way that you probably won't be able to with Merk? But I also think that makes it harder with Tennessee's offense. The same conversations we had about subbing in receivers. Like, if you're going up tempo, how easy is it for you to sub in the quarterback in and out? That seems like that would be a difficulty.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I don't either.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the only way I would see two quarterbacks being used is if Merklinger won the job and then they still wanted to use Joey's legs, because it does seem, don't you think that Joey's legs are better than Jake's?
Probably, but I don't think it's good enough to do that.
No, it's not. It's not Marcus Mariota coming in as the backup quarterback and he has a package or something like that. I do agree with you there. One thing in terms of, you kind of mentioned, what'd you say was the latest that you think they should name it?
The Monday of game week.
Okay. I wonder if this situation is different because Joey showed up so late. I wonder that maybe it does go to Thursday or Friday of game week. Like, if it's neck and neck and both guys, you don't think there's a possibility that it is truly neck and neck all the way up until game day?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I give it a 0.1% chance that happens.
Are you just that?
It never happens. Number one, it never happens. Number two, you need to mentally know who your guy is as you're preparing that week. So, like, when the ones go, like, it needs to be apparent, like, this is a starting quarterback. And he needs to have, I know everybody gets rep because practice is up tempo and, it's you get built-in conditioning. But, like, there needs to be a clear understanding of who the number one guy is the moment it's turn game week, in my opinion. And if it's neck and neck after multiple scrimmages, multiple 7-on-7s, 1-on-1s, team periods that will take place leading up to game week, then we might have a problem. I'm sorry, that's not a good thing for me. If it's neck and neck and you can't decide up until game week, unless Merklinger just got a whole lot better from spring to summer, and Joey came in and he's lighting it up too.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, but I would be surprised if that happens. Again, like, I like Merklinger. I think he can be a good college quarterback. I just think he's a year away from it being his time. To me, he's always been a 2 to 3 year developmental prospect, and we're not in that window just yet. So maybe he surprises us. He did have a nice spring. There's no denying that. I want to emphasize that neither one of us are saying we're out on Jake Merklinger. We just think it's a little early for his timeline to be a successful starting quarterback. At least that's how I believe. But
based on what we saw during the spring, which hey, he can make a jump during the summer. It's happened before.
And it's also not like he had the best resources to throw the football to either. So I'm more worried about the receiver position than I am the quarterback position, because the quarterbacks can play lights out, but if nobody's stepping up and helping them at receiver, then it doesn't matter.
I mean, we was asked the question yesterday about the center position and the confidence level there. It's about a 5.
Yeah, and that might be optimistic.
Yeah, it's about a 5 for me right now, just because I understand how much. Like, think about it, man. Think about how Cooper Mays was up for multiple awards, was named on all conference teams, was a finalist for the Center of the Year, the Remington Award, but didn't get invited to the NFL Combine, not an NFL camp. It was like he had no shot, but you one of the best centers in the country. That speaks to your value with this team, this program, this system, running this offense. And you remove him, and you expect the next guy, who they're unsure if he is the guy. They have a contingency plan, just in case he's not the guy, to put Sam Pendleton there. So, I heard someone talking a couple days ago, putting all this weight on how the offensive tempo needs to get back for this offense to be good. No, I don't. And you can have successful offense without tempo. College football has been played for 100 years, Ben. We've seen some prolific offenses during that time. They didn't always run tempo. Because I saw Joe Burrow carve up the college football world, and they didn't have up tempo. I saw Alabama with Tua in them carve up the world. They didn't run tempo. You don't have to have tempo. But what you better have is some dudes, and you better execute. That's what you need to have. The tempo can help mask some things. Remember in 2021, Ben, when no one had scored more than 10 points, 12 points against Georgia, and we played them at home, and that was the game where we wore the black uniforms and the black outline on the helmet, and we came out and scored first. I want to say
Jalen Wright touchdown run.
No, that was 23.
Okay.
21. It's Heupel's first season. I think we had some success early, and Cooper Mays had more success against big Jordan Davis than others because the tempo helped him. But if you just line Jordan Davis up against Cooper in a regular football game from 10 years ago with no tempo, who do you think winning that matchup? So the tempo helped. The tempo helps you when your guy is not as good as the other guy. It helps kind of level the playing field. But it doesn't replace talent. It doesn't replace execution. Because we've seen this offense get stonewalled against defenses that have talent. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about talent, execution. And so folks are putting all this stock in the tempo, think the tempo is a magic pill. Do y'all know we playing more receivers this year than ever in the rotation? That's supposed to be the goal. That's supposed to be what we're doing. We're going young. We're playing more dudes. So how you gonna do all this tempo stuff the same way we did in 22? We gonna see Boo Carter getting some offensive snaps? We think we're gonna see the same tempo with a first-year starting quarterback? The tempo was fast in 21, but was it not faster in 22 when Hendon Hooker was in his second season as a quarterback? So, like, I think people are putting way too much stock in the tempo. Because I don't know how fast it's going to be this year, and it's hard for me to believe that it's going to be as fast as it was in previous years.
I agree. I much prefer for them to expand the playbook rather than get back to.
They're doing that.
It seems like they're doing that.
No.
We'll see what happens when the bullets start flying.
No, they're doing that. Remember the interview that
Heupel had comments alluding to that in his opening statement at the podium, didn't he?
Yeah, but I was going to say that Nico had some comments during winter workouts, too, about how they were going to be running some new things, too. So, like, that's 100% of the thing. There's going to be some adjustments made on offense.
Which will help in a big way. And the reason you need those adjustments, the reasons you need to expand is because you struggled in the red zone, you struggled on third down. And if you're struggling on those money downs, then to me that tells you that you really need to revamp things. And it seems like they went into the offseason understanding that they maybe didn't need to make wholesale changes, but they needed to tweak some things. And I'm interested to see what those look like.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So we'll see that. We'll see some changes. 100% believe we will. I mean, you'd be crazy not to, right?
But to circle back to the quarterback competition and naming a starter, I do agree with you that I think you need one going into game week, just for the simple fact, and this is what you were saying, that the first team offense needs to be working together during game week. And so that I usually they have a couple of days to go home or whatever before coming back, or I don't know what the August schedule is going to look like for them, but that those last whenever the last true fall camp date is before you get into game week, I think is when you need to
go home. You might have it might be like a day of, you're not pounding as much at practice, but you done going home to the bye week. You can go home during the bye week, but you had 3 weeks. You had 3 weeks.
Well, I think I got my. You're right. I think I got my weekends mixed up. Isn't there like don't they give them like 2 or 3 days in the middle of August to recoup, or am I just imagining things?
Yeah, like you're tailing off all the physicality, but you still practicing. You might be doing more walkthroughs. I mean, you may have an off day, but like you ain't going home. Definitely.
Well, regardless, going into game week, what that Friday or when you have the team meeting on Sunday night before game week officially begins, I think that's when you need to announce a starter, because I just think it's very, very important that the first team offense is working together and getting the vast majority of the reps together throughout the course of game week.
Yeah, you just need to know. I mean, back in the day, it was like, oh, you need to make sure that this guy gets first team reps. Well, the way practice is constructed, everyone gets a ton of reps, like, because you want to make sure your second team guys are ready just in case somebody gets hurt on the first team. And so, yeah, like your first team guys, you don't want to overwork them in practice either. So there's been more of a balance now with first team reps, second team reps, and everybody's getting a lot of them at a fast pace because you have that built-in conditioning. But you just need to mentally know. You need to mentally know who the guy is. And I think they will sooner than later. And your team's going to tell you. When I heard those comments from Aaron Carter about not Mark Laker, but Aguilar coming in and being really tight with a lot of the guys on the team that quickly, I was like, oh boy, that's because that's supposed to be the advantage that Mertlinger has since he's been here. So Mertlinger better be slinging that football, man, in fall camp. He better be taking care of business, because how the team responds to the quarterback, and if that quarterback is playing slightly better than the others, he's going to be named the starter. The team's going to let you know. That's the way that stuff works. So just go ahead and get ready. It's going to be fun, man. I know you're ready to cover another quarterback battle, another quarterback competition.
I'm just ready for football season. Tired of talking season, although we're kind of just beginning talking season. To me, talking season is all of July and all of August.
Yeah, but
so I'm just ready to get to the games.
It's a lot better. Nathan has a question for you, Ben. When is the deadline for guys like DJ Newman, Chapman, and Bargo to decide their future? Is it July 28th?
Yes, it is July 28th.
Pretty simple answer there. Do you find it a little odd that there were some guys on the team that still have a relationship with Nico? Oddly enough, it's more defensive players than offensive players who are still in contact with them. If it's more defensive guys than offensive guys, then yes, I find that oddly weird.
I don't, because that's how these kids operate nowadays.
Well,
somebody enters the transfer portal and they're commenting on the Instagram post.
It's not weird that it's more defensive players.
Oh, that part of it is. I was saying that it's not
players,
weird that guys are still in contact with him.
I mean, I wouldn't be a player that would be still in contact with him.
I know you wouldn't, because I know your personality. But in today's day and age there's no loyalty to the schools anymore. Kids are not picking the school because they love the school as often as they used to when you were going through the recruiting process. They picked the school based off of which offer is the best offer. Okay, this team's giving me a 2-year offer. I'm going to go here because this team was only giving me 1 year. Yeah, maybe they were offering me a little bit more money in this 1 year, but I'd rather go somewhere where I know I'm going to have 2 years. That's how they're picking schools. There's no loyalty to the school anymore. I don't want to say that there's absolutely none, but it's few and far between. So, like the guys that are still in contact with Nico and boys with Nico, which they have every right to be. I'm not saying that at all, but they don't care about Tennessee like that.
They can care about Tennessee and still have a friendship with Nico. They can do both.
To the vast majority of these guys, it's all business. That's all they care about. So, and when it's all business, you don't see that they don't feel. When it's all business, you don't feel betrayed like the fans do because of what happened to their favorite team and their favorite school.
Well, Nico broke some codes on the business, on the business front.
Yeah.
So like I can look at Nico and be about my business and still be like, yo, man, you broke business code. Like you didn't handle yourself professionally. Like you don't have to live and die by Tennessee and have a Tennessee tattoo and do all that stuff. But business wise, you ain't showing up for workouts. You ain't showing up. You the quarterback and you ain't showing up. Who does that at what level? Like nobody's doing that at any level. So I just think that there are guys on this team that could love Tennessee, could be good team leaders, and could still have a relationship with Nico. Again, based on what I know, and you said you know my personality, which I think you do, I wouldn't be all buddy-buddy. But, like, some guys, they may still be in contact with them. And, hey, that's their business. They want to be.
Just go look at the comments on a transfer post. Whenever anybody transfers, it's, oh, best of luck, my guy. Best year coming yet, and yada, yada, yada. Like
no, I'm putting the middle finger emoji on there.
Yeah, you would. I know you would, but these recruits nowadays are not doing that.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do, for sure.
Be all buddy all the time.
Nina Mafia is right. He said, swear, I didn't know Trey Smith was your cousin. Well, he is. Y'all didn't know that? I got family in Jackson, Tennessee, and that's where Trey Smith is from. So I think by default, we both brothers. I think by default, we cousins, especially after he signed that lucrative deal. My goodness, making him the highest paid guard in NFL history.
Worth
No one
every penny.
deserves it more. Huh?
Worth every penny for the Chiefs.
No one deserves it more. $94 million, $70 million guaranteed, 4-year deal. He's actually behind. He should be making more. He should have more in the bank. And the reason why is because he was drafted in the 6th round in 2021. He would have been a first-round pick if it wasn't for the health concerns. So this would have been his second big deal. But this second deal is it's pretty damn good too.
What do you think Rivals Mike was thinking when he saw the contract details come through?
Dude, I saw somebody post what he said.
Was it DR Vol?
Nah, it wasn't DR Vol. It was somebody else. And listen, man, to give Rivals Mike some credit, Mike Farrell, he did apologize. But that's one of those things where you'll never live it down. People might accept your apology, but you'll never live down the worst recruiting take I've ever seen in my entire life. You still got it? Where is it? I know somebody got it saved. He basically said that Trey Smith wasn't a 5-star. He basically said that Tennessee fans were giving him gift baskets, something like that. I can't find it. But I did see it floating on my timeline, and I got a chuckle out of it. Might be the worst take of all time in the recruiting world. Good or bad. Tennessee fans was on him, boy, when that went down. Mike used to be the guy, man. Used to be the guy in recruiting, man.
Hey, did you see that Faison Brandon is still ranked the #1 overall player in the country, according to 24/7 Sports?
I did see that.
You see that 24/7 left Faison at #1?
That's why y'all the best.
For this particular one.
I'll be waiting for the gift baskets and apologies from the Trey Smith should have been a 5-star crowd, or for the excuses, one or the other. Whew.
Trey should send him a gift basket after signing. If I'm Trey Smith, I'm sending Rivals Mike a fruit basket.
Well, his handle's not Rivals Mike anymore.
What is it now? On 3, Mike? Is he even still doing recruiting?
He's not with the company. He hasn't been with the company for a while. So he's doing, he's doing his own thing. MikeFarrellSports.com is his website. There you go.
You have to
Mike.
forgive me.
Plug.
I'm not up to date. I'm just the baseball guy. I know nothing else.
There's your plug, Mike. But
Give me $5, please.
That's what he's got going on, man. He's not working for a recruiting service. If you had to pick a player from both sides of the ball, non-quarterback that we just can't lose, who would that person be?
Mike Matthews on offense for me. I mean, I'm already worried about the receivers. If you lost Mike Matthews, the one I do have confidence in, oh, buddy, they'll be recruiting Swain to get back out there.
You wouldn't look at somebody on the offensive line?
My mind did go to the offensive line, but I think you have more bodies that can step in there than you do at receiver.
Being like, if you lose someone on the offensive line, the wrong person, like it's one thing to lose Mike Matthews and the passing game suffer, but you lose someone on the offensive line, both phases on offense suffer, running game and passing game.
Right.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Which is obviously the correct way to look at it. Not that you need me to tell you that, but I guess it would depend on, like they keep saying that Sham Umarov and Jesse Perry have had nice off seasons, and they're ready to take the next step. I guess it would depend on if those guys are truly ready to take the next step. If they're truly serviceable,
don't even do it.
What?
Listen, after we were told that Emmanuel Okoye is the most athletic tight end maybe in Tennessee history.
Well, Glenn Ellerby didn't say that.
I don't care. It was said. When that was said, and we ain't seen him sniff the playing field since he's been here, I don't take anyone's word for it anymore. I need to see it on my own two eyes. Period. So until it happens, it's a question for me.
I agree, but I think that there are bigger questions at receiver. I would take my chance with Umarov and Jesse Perry over the true freshman receivers that would be thrown into the fire. So I maintain my pick of Mike Matthews.
I mean, what if Lance Hurd is out?
That would not be ideal. I mean, last year it would not have mattered if Lance Hurd was in there or out of there at times.
Well, yeah. So that's who I would probably take on offense. I would take a lineman over a receiver.
Now, which lineman would you go on the interior, or would you go with tackle? I think you'd have to go with a tackle body.
They're also important, but I'll probably go with the tackle. And then defensively,
right now it's Ricky Gibson III with Jamad out. The initial thought off the top of my head.
More so than Arion Carter?
No, because with at corner you've got Jalen McMurray and Colton Hood. At linebacker, who would be it would be a true freshman stepping in, right?
It'd be first time players. The Spillman coming in.
Yeah, Spillman or Burns. I do love me some Spillman. I don't know. That's an interesting conversation as well. Also, hey, and who says Arion Carter's even the best linebacker that they have?
He is right now.
He has the potential to be. We have not seen it yet.
That's not that you trying to be slick. That's not the same. You can still be the best without reaching your full potential on your team.
Has Arion been better than T-Lander?
Yeah, I would say so. You don't think?
Maybe so. I don't think you can come to that answer as quickly as you did.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, T-Lander has a lot to say about his play last year and how he can improve by going out there and playing better this year, which I think he's going to do.
I mean, if we're being honest, Arion has underperformed to what expectations were to this point in his career. Part of that is injuries.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tennessee, when Tennessee signed, I think Tennessee expected to get more out of him in his first 2 years than it has.
Oh, I mean, I also think like the hype. He was a guy that picked Tennessee over Alabama, and unfortunately, I think people looked at him and thought he was going to produce like Henry To'oTo'o did as a true freshman.
Yeah, that set him up. Everybody thought he was going to be just amazing from day one, and I think part of that was you beat out Alabama on the recruiting trail.
Yeah. But
so, no, I do agree, and I like Arion Carter. Don't get it twisted, but he's got things that he needs to prove this year as well. This is a big money year for him.
He understands that. Yeah, I think he knows it. I think he understands it, and I think he's gonna get it done.
So I guess it would boil down to: do you trust Edwin Spillman or Jalen McMurray, Colton Hood more? If you're picking between which player you can least afford to lose.
And those two guys, man, they gave you experience. Like,
right.
And here's another way to look at it. I think you'll understand. Remember the Alabama game last year Like, Jamal McCoy had the interception against Ryan Williams, right? But how many times was Ryan Williams open and Miro just missed him? I mean, my man had like 15 targets, probably more. And he would have had probably 300 yards if Milroe would have hit him. My point is, DBs can get beat. Coverage could get beat. And the ball still ain't hitting the receiver. There's still a negative play. Still an incompletion. Still 0 yards gain. But if your linebacker's run fitting wrong in running game, let me remind you about what happened in the Kentucky game. Let me remind you what happened in the Mississippi State game. 2 games where we enter that game on, oh man, we gonna beat the brakes off these dudes. You know, Tom Hart called into Joshua Swain messing around with us when he landed on a Friday, and we were joking about, hey man, here's some topics you can talk about when Tennessee's up by 20 or 30 points. Now, who's giving him topics that he never touched on?
So disrespectful.
Oh, very disrespectful. But Kentucky was trash last year. But he never got to those topics. Why? Because the game was too damn close. Because we couldn't stop the run like we needed to. So I'm going to take someone that's on the front lines that can cost you yards in the running game versus a player in the secondary, because the best receiver quarterback duo we played last year couldn't even connect. They didn't even connect like they could have. That's how I'm looking at it.
That's fair. It's an interesting question. Good question.
It's a really good question.
From Real D from the 423. C-Mac has a question for you.
C-Mac, disappointed there hasn't been more talk from you all about one of the most important games of the upcoming season, Arkansas. They will be coming off a bye week after playing Notre Dame at home. So they come off a bye week October the 4th. They play Notre Dame September 27th. Well, damn, C-Mac, you're just going to be disappointed. We haven't really talked about any one particular game. I mean, and we play Syracuse first. We haven't even really talked about any game. And, you know, Arkansas, we play them at home, and there's going to be that revenge factor for sure for Tennessee. And, Arkansas, they don't have it easy before they play us, but they do have that bye week, which will be helpful for those guys.
But to C-Mac's point, I do think it is a trap game. I think you can absolutely call that a trap game, because not only is Arkansas, they'll be coming to Knoxville off of a bye week, but Tennessee plays at Alabama the next week. And that home game against Arkansas, not only are you going to Alabama the next week, but the Arkansas game is sandwiched between 2 road trips. You should be able to win at Mississippi State, but you still will be on the road the previous week. You come back, you play Arkansas at home. No, I guess Tennessee's going to have a bye week. I'm sorry, I was looking at that wrong. But I still think it would be what's that?
Arkansas is a trap game just like last year's.
Yeah, no, it is a trap game. But I was looking at the schedule wrong. I apologize for there's a bye week in between Mississippi State and Arkansas for Tennessee. But with Arkansas and Alabama, a trip to Tuscaloosa for Tennessee after the Arkansas game, I think it's certainly fair to consider that a trap game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen teams lose to teams that they wasn't expected to lose to. It happened with us last year, Tennessee, on the road, Arkansas. Did it happen the year before?
Losing a game they shouldn't have?
Yeah.
In 2023, some people think that you shouldn't have lost at Missouri, but I think that Missouri team with Cody Schrader was better than Tennessee.
Yeah, they were better. Florida
and then
game.
You lost.
But
I think the one game you could say that year, this is a more interesting topic, but I think you should have won in the Swamp that year.
Yeah, I would say
that Florida team was not that good.
Yeah.
Like on paper, like just the personnel of the football players, you should have beat that Florida team. But there is some context with understanding the history of Tennessee playing in that stadium. It never goes well, regardless of how good Florida is.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I still think that that's a game that they should have won.
Yeah, and then 22, that's South Carolina game.
Yep.
So my point is, like, with Tennessee, there's a few examples of losing teams that you didn't expect to lose to. Well, that happened last year around the league too.
It happens every year. That's why college sports is so great.
Yeah, Georgia lost to Ole Miss. Florida beats Ole Miss. Like
Vanderbilt
beats Alabama. Yeah, like, I mean, so it's easy to look at the schedule. We do it every year. And we're like, oh yeah, that's a win. That's probably an L. But hey, man, you never know. All I know is you better not let Arkansas come in here and win. You better not lose to Mississippi State, because Oklahoma's already a swing game. Florida, we know what that's going to be like. That's going to be a tough game, because DJ Lagway is him, and he's playing at home. That's going to be tough. Alabama's going to be tough because they on a revenge tour. We got Florida State
quarterback. In Tuscaloosa.
It's in Tuscaloosa. Florida State quarterback got what he had to say. Same what he has to say. Tennessee beat Alabama at home last year, so like they want revenge. They're gonna their sense of urgency and attention to detail is at an all-time high in Tuscaloosa with Kalen DeBoer because of what happened last year and how they wasn't disciplined as they needed to be. Georgia, listen, we know what that's about. So like there's gonna be some tough games as it is there. I mean, you lose those three. Let's say you lose those three to the big three. You're on the outside looking in the playoffs. So the Oklahoma game is going to be a big swing game, I think, for Tennessee.
Yeah, there's several big swing games, and I think Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Syracuse is going to determine how successful of a season it is. Like if you want to, I would say, surpass outside expectations. When I say outside, I'm talking about people outside of Knoxville, because I don't think people expect Tennessee to do much this year after the Nico stuff. I think if you're going to prove those type of people wrong, you have to win Syracuse, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Kentucky, the quote unquote gimmies on your schedule. Now, one thing I will add to C-Mac's point is, yes, I think it's fair to view Arkansas as a trap game. And I'm curious your thoughts on this, Swain. Mm-hmm. I don't worry about Josh Heupel teams getting caught up in trap games, because I think it's only happened once in his tenure at Tennessee. I think the only time Tennessee got caught looking ahead was that South Carolina game when Hendon Hooker tore his ACL. Mm-hmm. Josh Heupel does – it's one of the things Josh Heupel does best, is having his team in the here and now, focused on this week's opponent, not worrying about anything else. He does a phenomenal job of having his team locked in on that week's opponent. When they lost to Arkansas last year, it's not because they were looking ahead. It's because they just played poor football. When they lost in the Swamp, it was because they played poor football, not because they were looking ahead. Now, there was dysfunction in that South Carolina game beyond just simply playing poor football. So the fact that it's only happened once in 4 years, like I think that really speaks to Heupel's ability to have his team ready to play on Saturday. So, yeah, Arkansas may be fair to look at as a trap game, but I don't worry about trap games with Josh Heupel.
I just worry about night games on the road.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you worry about.
But they're not going to – the point of a trap – the fear of a trap game is that you're going to lose – you're going to lose this game because you're going to get caught looking ahead.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens under Heupel.
Yeah, good point. I agree with you. Which makes me feel uncomfortable.
I know you hate it.
Todd, but Ben, you got a message from Todd on the text box for you.
I do, and I had a couple of these the other day that we were unable to get to on Tuesday, so apologies for not answering this on Tuesday, but Todd wants me to explain what the DSAs are, what they can do, and how many will Tennessee have next year. This is a new thing for baseball, this this upcoming season. I'm still trying to learn what it is, quite frankly, Todd. What I believe it is that if Tennessee and Tony Vitello were to tell a player after the draft that they don't have a spot, or even before the draft, but if essentially it's like you tell a returning player they don't have a spot, then they can enter this one-time portal window until sometime in the beginning of August. So it's basically, if I understand it correctly, it's to prevent student athletes from being put in a tough spot, because the MLB draft puts these college baseball coaches in an awful spot because it is so late in the year. You have guys that you thought were going to get drafted, like Reese Chapman and Dalton Bargo, and you're thinking, okay, that's going to clear up a roster spot. Then they don't get drafted. The transfer portal window has already closed. So, like, the coaches are stuck between a rock and a hard place of what to do with Dalton Bargo and Reese Chapman. Dalton Bargo and Reese Chapman are stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Do I want to go back to school? Do I want to sign an undrafted free agent deal? I can't transfer anywhere at this point. So it's just a cluster, you know what. And I think that this DSA thing is meant to be because the draft is putting these coaches in such an awful position by potentially having to tell. I mean, think about how awful that is. That right now, like Tennessee, by my count, Tennessee baseball has 44 players potentially for next season, and they need to get down to 37. The roster limit is technically 34, but I believe Tennessee's administration, because you're allowed to grandfather some scholarships in, I believe Tennessee's going to give Tony a little wiggle room and actually give him 37 scholarships this upcoming season. But you still have to go down from 44 to 37 somehow by the start of August. And imagine you having to have conversations with a player on July 17th that we don't have a spot for you anymore. I mean, that's an awful thing for a kid to have to go through this late in the game. So from my understanding, if I'm applying it correctly, it's a list that the coaches can submit that they told, hey, we're not going to have room for you, and because there are no portal windows this time of year, this list is creating a portal window that allows the player that was told there's no room for them, that they have up until like August 7th to find a new spot. It's very confusing. So I hope some of that made sense. And I know somebody else asked me if I've heard of any names that could be on the list. I have not. I think that there may have been a list submitted for players that potentially be on it, but I have not heard 100% that this guy or that guy will be on it. But Tony's in a tough spot right now. I feel for him having to have tough conversations this time of year because of how silly the roster rules are in his sport. But they've got some work to do to get down to that 37 number.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough right there, man. That's difficult. I bet that's probably the least favorite thing Tony Vitello has to do as a coach of Tennessee. Knowing his personality. Yeah.
Because you used to, like before the new roster limit, okay, I'm coming in with 44. Well, 7 of these guys are just going to redshirt by the time the season rolls around, and I won't have to worry about telling them that they can't be around the program anymore. And that's why you saw so many guys enter the portal, not because there was something wrong at Tennessee or this, that, or the other. It's just they were allowing too many players to hang around the program and be associated with the program. A lot of red shirts that the common fan is unaware of. And so now that you had to get the roster limit down to 34, and again, they're going to help Tony out, I believe, and give him 37 this year, because like they have an incoming high school signee that just had Tommy John surgery, and in the future he's going to count towards that. He's going to be one of the 34 roster spots, despite having Tommy John, and being able to grandfather in a scholarship or two allows them to essentially for that spot not to count towards this year's team. But that's what it was, is that they were bringing in these guys
because they were
no rules against how many you could bring in, and then they would just redshirt, and you just never know what somebody may develop into, and that's why you saw so many guys leave. And now you won't see that anymore. There will be less roster attrition just because there's not as many spots as there once was.
Yeah. That's sports for you. That's college sports for you. Another message for you being on the Beatty Chevrolet text box.
Yeah, from Central Florida, Vol. He wants to know if DJ Newman is going to sign or come to school. DJ Newman is the two-way player from Bowling Green, outfielder, right-handed pitcher. He was drafted in the 15th round by the Houston Astros. As of last night, it was 50-50. Houston had not met, the Astros had not met DJ Newman's asking price, and I think that there is some optimism on DJ Newman's side that they will eventually reach his asking price, but we'll see. He's still in contact with Tony Vitello. He's still doing his online classes for Tennessee, so that seems like it would mean that Tennessee is an option for DJ Newman. But if I'm Tennessee and I'm having this roster crunch, and like I'd love to have DJ Newman, I think he's a great baseball player. But if I have this roster crunch and I'm having to have some tough conversations, I would almost be happy if he did sign, because that's one less thing I have to worry about. And it's not like DJ Newman's not going to make or break Tennessee's season, in my opinion. Again, good college baseball player, you want to have him, but you have others that can do exactly what DJ Newman can do. So I'll be curious to see what transpires there. But as of yesterday afternoon, last night, the Astros had not met his asking price, and somebody did tell me that they thought the agent thinks that the Astros will eventually meet his asking price. So I'd say 50-50, and that's probably optimistic. I kind of think that he's going to end up signing, but we'll see.
Ben McKee, y'all. Ben McKee. With the roster changes across college sports, do you know why baseball seems to be the only one that had a reduction of scholarship players among the major sports? Football and basketball all increased, and I think softball did too, if I remember right.
Well, because baseball loses money.
Yeah.
Football and basketball generate money. Baseball loses money. It does not generate a profit, so it's a harder financial burden for these administrators than those other sports, because football and basketball make it back on their own. Administrations are having to take money and apply it to baseball, so that's why. And that was kind of that's how much they were willing to give is 34. I think eventually it'll get closer to 37, 40. 34 is just I don't see how that's feasible, because with how fickle the arm can be and how many arm injuries occur with pitchers, I think there's going to be some teams that run into some really tough situations if they have a run of arm injury. So I think they'll extend it by a couple here within the next couple of years to help the pitching side of things.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Last thing on the message text box here. The Swain Event message board. How about that? Richard G. West says that we Adidas. Oh, man.
So that means that it'll be announced later today?
Richard said this in May, but quote tweeted and put a little eyeball emoji on it about 50 minutes ago. Listen, it's middle of July. So we're supposed to be finding out June, July. Here we are. So that was the case in 2015 or 2014 going into 15. We heard about it during that summer. So, yeah, it all makes sense for Tennessee to go to Adidas. So for me, it's not like a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to be announced. To me, it's a no-brainer. So
it's a no-brainer as long as there's a significant difference in money.
Oh yeah, and
Which that's the assumption that will happen.
There will be. And that's
Because if it's close, you stick with Nike.
And those latest uniforms, the latest smoky grays.
I'm more of a fan of them than you are, but I hear you.
Yeah, you are, because I'm not a fan of them at all.
I know you're not.
Because they don't look good.
I like the jersey. I don't like the pants.
Well, you don't like the uniform.
The jersey and the uniform are two separate things.
No, they're not. The jersey is part of a uniform.
Correct. I like the jersey. I don't like the pants.
Yeah. So you don't like the uniform.
That does not mean the same thing, sir.
You can't like the jersey not like the pants and say you like the uniform.
I don't dislike it.
Like if you had on a cool looking shirt but your pants was whack, you can't say, well, people say they like my outfit. No, they like your shirt, but your outfit's whack because your pants are terrible. You like the outfit or you don't. You like
I
the
don't
uniform or you
dislike
don't.
it. That's what I'll say. I don't dislike it.
Oh man, you funny. You're a funny guy. You're not on like medication or anything, are you?
I haven't taken my medicine this morning, so no.
Okay, because sometimes I be wondering about you, man.
That's all right. I be wondering about you too.
I haven't taken mine, so I'm
you're the one that led off the show talking about all your concussions, and then you're questioning me.
Well, I'm letting you know why I don't do rides. I don't do roller coasters, man.
I don't either. I'm there for the cinnamon bread.
I got something in the kitchen.
You about to go snack on it, aren't you?
Nah, man. It's too early to be doing all that.
I bet your little ones have already eaten it up.
You know what? They probably did. I got two. I got one for there. My niece came up from A-Town, spent a couple days with us. So those chairs right by the meal. We get the bread. We sat down and broke that box open.
Go to town.
Went to town, and then we got one for the road. So we have another one at the house we brought back, 2 days ago? And I haven't seen it, so it might be gone.
I can think of one suspect who has probably eaten it all.
My oldest.
Your youngest was who I was thinking of.
Well, my middle one is a sweet tooth. And you can tell when they go into something because they damn sure don't clean up after themselves. So it's obvious. It is obvious. All right, man. We'll do it again on Tuesday. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. I know one thing. With Miles Kittelman's comments, he's made himself a lifetime Knoxvillian, and that's okay because he does have property in Knoxville thanks to Jennifer Morris. It's Keller Williams Realty.
Yep, the GOAT, who everybody should reach out to for all of their real estate needs. I trusted her with my family. Miles Kitzelman trusted her along with several other UT athletes. The Swain Event family has trusted her. She's the absolute best and will help you accomplish whatever you want to accomplish in real estate. So please reach out to Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty.
Also, alphawildlife.com is a website. If you have some critters in your home, bats, squirrels, rats, got some wildlife out in the yard that's causing some issues, give the experts there at Alpha Wildlife a call. Go to the website, alphawildlife.com. Veteran owned, big Tennessee fans. Give them a shout. I've used them. A+ job. All right, Ben. Rest up, my man. Tuesday we'll do it again. Hope everyone has a great weekend, a safe weekend. Swain Events fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Peace and love, y'all. We're closer to football season.